And we are back. Welcome to my preview and predictions for the UEFA Nations League quarter-final first legs. Now, before we get into today's video, a reminder that our first ever ad-free, exclusively to members only preview and predictions video for the Women's Champions League quarter-final has gone live. It is available on the channel, but what you have to do is hit that join button at the bottom of your screen so you don't miss out on the new series we have got posted for you. As for this week over here on the free-to-view channel, we have got the quarter-final predictions, as I've said, what we are doing today. Then tomorrow, we have got my preview and predictions for all of the Nations League playoffs as the sides try to get promoted into League A and League B, respectively. And then on Thursday, it will be my first European qualifiers for the World Cup preview and predictions. 12 matches we will be covering in Thursday's video. So make sure you're dropping a like on this video if you do enjoy all of my previews and predictions. And subscribe with notifications turned on, so you don't miss out on any of the good stuff. As for these quarterfinals then, obviously we have got 4 matches to cover, all taking place at the exact same time on Thursday evening. And as things stand, we're on 81 out of 152 in the Nations League in terms of correct results, with 17 correct scores. Only the Premier League, I believe, is where I've got more correct scores so far this season. And like I say, we've got 4 matches. There is not a lot to split between any of these sides. So let's just get straight into it. The opening match of these quarterfinals sees Croatia taking on France. Again, flashbacks to that World Cup final from a few years ago. But coming into this, Croatia were the runners-up in Group 1 and France were the winners of Group 2. To be fair, Croatia didn't actually have that good of a league phase. They've managed to sneak second place despite only getting 8 points out of an available 18. France, on the other hand, lost their opening game of the league phase, but then were unbeaten in all of their remaining 5, ending on 13 points after massively beating Italy away from home in that final league phase game to mean that they did top the group at Italy's expense, both sides finishing on 13 points. Just to make matters worse for Croatia, there's a certain Kylian Mbappe that is back in the French side for the first time in 6 months, and he will be looking to take his captain's armband straight through Croatia and into the semi-finals. Although, it must be noted that Croatia are a very good side, and of course they do have a relatively decent record against France, particularly in this competition. These two sides last met in 2022 in this competition, and on those occasions it was a draw in Croatia, but then the Croatians went to France and got themselves a 1-0 win. So there's definitely remit to suggest that Croatia can certainly get something from this tie. The only issue is that they're really struggling to produce any sort of like fresh and exciting talent. They're still going to be relying on Luka Modric to be their captain, to be their leader, and all their other usual players. The good news for them is it looks like Livakovic has overcome the injuries that has seen him miss games for Galatasaray. You remember I spoke about that in my Europa League video, that how he's not been playing for Galatasaray, but he is expected to make it back for this. But you just look at that France squad. You look at the players that France have left out of this squad, the likes of Nkunku, the likes of Kingsley Coman, and they've just got so much talent available to them. They have a lot of players and a lot of form. Mbappe, Dembele, Barcola, etc. And that's just the attacking line. They are playing some phenomenal stuff at the moment. And I just think, ultimately, they are going to have too much for Croatia. Final thing to note is that Croatia did manage to get a draw at home to Portugal in their final match day. So there is a chance for them. But I would be surprised to see France not win this game. I'm not confident enough to go crazy, but I'm just going to go for a 2-1 win to France. Speaking of Portugal, they are one of the focuses of our next game. They are going to be travelling to Denmark. And unfortunately for Denmark, after winning on match days 1 and 2 in Group 4, they didn't win any of their remaining 4 fixtures. So it's not been a good league phase for them either. But thanks to getting draws against Switzerland and Serbia when it mattered, they were able to keep them down to enough points where it meant that Denmark were able to just about go through. For Portugal, much easier for them, unbeaten across all 6 games in Group 1, 4 wins and 2 draws, thanks to Nations League's top scorer, certainly for League A anyway, that man, as always, Cristiano Ronaldo. Ultimately, it is a lack of goals that have been letting Denmark down in this league phase. They only were able to score 7 goals in their 6 league phase matches, which, considering that's only around, well, just over 1 goal a game, is not going to be enough to get themselves past the Portugal team that is playing some fantastic stuff at the moment and has welcomed Ruben Diaz back into their defensive line for these matches. One player to watch out for, though, from Denmark, if we want to talk about goals, is Monaco's new signing, Bireth, who's managed to score 11 goals in his first 9 games for Monaco since signing in January. So I'd be really interested to see if he starts for Denmark, and if he does, can he hurt that Portugal back line? The last time these sides met was 10 years ago, so we can't really look at that head-to-head record. On those occasions, Portugal won both of them 1-0, and yes, Cristiano Ronaldo scored in one of those matches. So the evergreen Ronaldo continues to play for them. I expect Portugal to come out on top here. Denmark have not done enough for me in the league phase to suggest they're going to get anything off this Portugal side in either of these legs. So I'm going to go for a 3-1 win to Portugal. The next one, I think, is probably the most interesting tie of the entire quarterfinals. It is Italy taking on Germany. As we've already mentioned, Italy were only in this position because they lost 3-1 at home to France on match day 6, meaning that they've just missed out on top spot, both sides finishing on 13 points. Germany were 1 point better off in Group 3. They were unbeaten with 14 points. But, to be fair, both sides come into this without key players. For Italy, it's probably not as key because it is Di Marco, their left wing-back, left centre-back, depending on how they want to use him. But he is a very good attacking threat, and he's someone who delivers a lot of dangerous balls into the box for them. For Germany, they are missing their most important player from the league phase, and that is Florian Wirtz. The injury that saw him miss Bayer Leverkusen's games against Bayern Munich in the Champions League are going to see him miss this international break as well, which could prove crucial because even though we've spoken about Ronaldo being the top goal scorer in this competition, Florian Wirtz is the highest goal contributor in this tournament so far with 6 goals and assists combined. To be fair, with him missing, Musiala can obviously fill those boots. He has 5 goal and assist contributions as well. But it could be interesting. Obviously, no Kai Havertz available to them either. They could be struggling in terms of forward players, but we just know how dangerous this German side can be. The last time these sides met was in the 2022 Nations League, as with Croatia and France. Back then, it was a 1-1 draw in Italy. It was a 5-2 win for the Germans at home. For me, though, this game has draw written all over it. If you actually look at the form of these sides in the league phase, Italy only won 1 of their 3 home matches. Germany only won 1 of their 3 away matches. So I don't think there's going to be too much to split between them over the course of the entire tie. For me, I can see this one going all the way to the latter stages of Sunday evening's second leg. Could be one that goes all the way to penalties. I think, though, for this one, as I've already mentioned, it's probably most likely going to be a draw or a goal one side or another. So I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw for Italy and Germany. And then finally, it is the defending champions, the Euro winners, the highest performing team in the group stages, Spain, taking on a Dutch side who really haven't been that great in recent times. Spain, as I was just saying, they were the highest performing side in the group stages. They managed 16 points out of a possible 18, winning all of their last 5. Meanwhile, the Dutch only got through on 9 points, and they've only won 1 of their last 5 coming into this fixture, which, considering that they have got through, is a bit of a poor look. Their last 5 Nations League matches, they can only manage 1 win. Not only that, they do have major concerns in their defence as well. Stefan de Vrij, Nathan Ake, both regular starters for the Dutch, are expected to miss this, but of course they do still have the likes of Van Dijk and De Ligt that can fill in for those. Well, I mean, Van Dijk would play anyway, but De Ligt could fill in for those positions. For Spain, their only big name absentee is Rodri, who obviously, as we know, picked up the ACL injury way back when. Didn't seem to affect them in the league phase, though, with their incredible points tally. Other than that, they're basically fully fit. Morata's got over his injury, which seen him miss recent games for Galatasaray. All the Barcelona players are there, Yamal, Pedri, etc. They're all expected to be available and playing. I just don't see where the Dutch get their joy in this game. So, for me, this is a Spanish victory. I'm just going to put the result up straight away. I'm going to go for 2-0. If there are Dutch fans watching that want a little bit of hope, the last time these sides met, it was a 5-1 victory to the Dutch. However, that was way back in 2014 with that Robin van Persie header. So, who knows? Maybe we could see something special like we did on that night Although, to be honest, I think it's more likely we see a 5-1 to Spain than we see a 5-1 to the Dutch. That's the way I see it. I've gone for 3 of the favourites. I know, how boring. But ultimately, these sides won their group for a reason. They're very talented teams. And I expect them to get the results over the course of these 2 legs. As always, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Let me know anything you think I've missed in regards to these fixtures. Thank you very much for watching as always. Don't forget to have a little look towards looking at those Champions League women's predictions on the members only. Remember, those videos are ad-free if you do decide to join. I will be back tomorrow morning with my preview and predictions for the Nations League playoffs for League A and League B. So I'll say a final thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you there.